Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning, Bhagavatam class, and hopefully some nice japa later on. Let's make a start on this wonderful katha. So, how far we are now? So the demigods upset the Guru Brahaspati. They accepted Vishwarup as their Guru, and then Vishwarup made a kavach for them, or recited a kavach known as Narayan Kavach to win back the kingdom. So we'll take from there what's happening now. So Sri Shukadev Goswami continued. So Vishwarup, who was engaged as a priest of the demigods, had 3 heads. So they won back the kingdom, and now they're explaining more about Vishwarup. He used one to drink the beverage, somras, another to drink wine, and third to eat food. O King Parikshit, those I have heard from authorities. One cannot directly perceive the kingdom of heaven, its king and other inhabitants, and how they perform their various engagements. For no one can go to the heavenly planets. So Srila Prabhupada explaining, although modern scientists have invented many powerful space vehicles, they cannot even go to the moon, not to speak of other planets. By direct experience, one cannot learn anything beyond the range of human perception. One must hear from authority. So this is what Shukadev Goswami is saying, that this is what I've heard. It's not something he has seen or visioned. It's something he has heard from authorities. Therefore, Shukadev Goswami, a great personality, says, what I'm describing to you, O King, is what I have heard from authoritative sources. This is the Vedic system. So we don't invent our own speculations and information. We pass on what we have learned from the authorities. The Vedic knowledge is called Shruti because it must be received by being heard from authorities. It is beyond the realm of our false experimental knowledge. So let's pray first of all. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Grim Yat Kirpatam Hamandeshri Gurun Din Taranam Pramnam Damadam Shri Chaitanya Ishram Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamaduriyat Nashta Preshu Abdureshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Nestiki. Hare Krishna. O Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods were related to Vishwarup from his father's side, and therefore he visibly offered clarified butter in the fire while chanting mantras such as Indraya Idam Swaha. This is meant for King Indra. And Idam Agne, this is for the demigod of fire. He loudly chanted these mantras and offered each of the demigods his proper share. So Vishwarup is doing a yajna on behalf of the demigods. Now, although offering clarified butter in the sacrificial fire in the name of the demigods, which he was supposed to be doing, without the knowledge of the demigods, he also offered oblations to the demons because they were his relatives through his mother. So Vishwarup's father, Tvashta, was could say a sage, and his mother was actually from the demonic family. So he was like a mixed race, you could say. Because of Vishwarup's affection for the families of both the demigods and the demons, he appeased the Supreme Lord on behalf of both dynasties. When he offered oblation in the fire on behalf of the Asuras, he did so secretly, without the knowledge of the demigods. So once upon a time, however, the king of heaven, Indra, understood that Vishwarup was secretly cheating the demigods by offering oblations on behalf of the demons. So he got found out. He became extremely afraid of being defeated by the demons because he didn't want to go through that again. They just about got the kingdom back, and then their own priest is secretly helping the enemy. He found that very offensive, and in great anger at Vishwarup, he cut Vishwarup's 3 heads from his shoulders. So Indra got very angry and he killed his priest, or his guru, his current guru. Thereafter, the head meant for drinking somaras was transformed into kapinjal, or francolin partridge. Similarly, the head meant for drinking wine was transformed into a kalbinka, which is a sparrow, and the head meant for eating food became a titri, a common partridge. So this is where these birds are coming from. Now, although Indra was so powerful that he could neutralize the sinful reactions for killing a Brahman, so whatever the offense of the Brahman, still it's an offense to kill a Brahman. And Indra need to do something, otherwise he will get a big reaction for this. He repentantly accepted the burden of these reactions with folded hands. He suffered for 1 year, and then to purify himself, he distributed the reactions for the sinful killing among the earth, water, trees, and women. So he suffered for 1 year. He took on these reactions onto himself for 1 year, but because it was too much to bear and he probably couldn't conduct his duties properly, he needed to divide them among others. In return for King Indra's benediction, that ditches in the earth would be filled automatically. The land accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions for killing a Brahman. Because of those sinful reactions, we find many deserts on the surface of the earth. So according to scriptures, the deserts came because of the reaction to Indra for killing a Brahman. In return for Indra's benediction that the branches and twigs would grow back when trimmed, the trees accepted 1/4 of the reactions for killing a Brahman. These reactions are visible in the flowing of sap from trees. So you got deserts, you got sap from trees. Therefore, one is forbidden to drink this sap. In return for Indra's benediction that they would be able to enjoy lusty desires continuously, even during pregnancy, for long as it's not injurious to the embryo, women accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions. As a result of these reactions, women manifest signs of menstruation every month. Because deserts are manifestations of the earth's disease condition, no auspicious ritualistic ceremony can be performed in a desert. Persons destined to live in deserts are understood to be sharing the reactions for the sin of Brahmahatya, the killing of a Brahman. So anyone who's living in the desert is a part of that. They are born there or living there. They're participating in the reaction. And in return for King Indra's benediction, the water would increase the volume of other substances with which it was mixed. Water accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions. Therefore, there are bubbles and foam in water. When one collects water, these should be avoided. So after Vishnu was killed, his father Twista performed ritualistic ceremonies to kill Indra. So, 1 minute, Vishwarup is their guru, and it's all glorious. And now his father is seeking revenge against the demigods. So, this shows that this is also part of the material world. One, padam padam vipadam is after one calamity after another. Even to the demigods is coming up. So thereafter, from the southern side of the sacrificial fire known as Anvaharya came a fearful personality who looked like the destroyer of the entire creation at the end of the millennium. So his father did a yajna, offered oblations in the sacrificial fire, saying, "O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay." So this demon comes from the southern side of the fire. Like arrows released in the four directions, the demon's body grew day after day, tall and blackish. He appeared like a burnt hill and was as lustrous as a bright array of clouds in the evening. He appeared like a burnt hill and was the hair on the demon's body and his beard and mustache were the color of melted copper. And his eyes were piercing like the midday sun. He appeared unconquerable, as if holding the three worlds on the points of his blazing trident. Dancing and shouting with a loud voice, he made the entire surface of the earth tremble as if from an earthquake. As he yawned again and again, he seemed to be trying to swallow the whole sky with his mouth, which was as deep as a cave. He seemed to be licking up all the stars in the sky with his tongue and eating the entire universe with his long, sharp teeth. Seeing this gigantic demon, everyone in great fear ran here and there in all directions. So Twista is trying to bring about a demon who would be an enemy of Indra. That was his purpose. So he wanted Indra killed. So he got this demon as an enemy of Indra. That very fearful demon was actually the son of Twista, covered all the planetary systems by dint of austerity. Therefore, he was named Vritra, or one who covers everything. So it's Vṛtrāsura. In the Vedas, it is said, Sa ima lokan avnotat Vritsya Vṛtrātvam, because the demon covered all the planetary system. His name was Vṛtrāsura. The demigods, headed by Indra, charged the demon with their soldiers, striking him with their own tongue into bows and arrows and other weapons. But Vṛtrāsura swallowed all their weapons. So he swallowed all the arrows coming at him as well. Struck with wonder and disappointment upon seeing the strength of the demon, the demigods lost their own strength. So they do tend to panic, and here I think they're panicking now what to do. Therefore, they all met together to try to please the super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, by worshipping him. So in time of trouble, think of Narayan. When there is no other help available, then Narayan is the ultimate. The demigod said, the three worlds are created by the five elements, namely ether, air, fire, water, and earth, which are controlled by various demigods, beginning from Lord Brahma. Being very much afraid that the time factor will end our existence, we offer presentations onto time by performing our work as time dictates. Therefore, time factor himself, however, is afraid of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, let us now worship the Supreme Lord, who alone can give us full protection. So Srila Prabhupada explains that when one is afraid of being killed, one must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although we take shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead when we're worried that something is going to come upon us, whether some injury or death, we think of the Lord. But when that problem is solved, then we forget the Lord again. He is worshipped by all the demigods, beginning from Brahma. All the other in charge of the various elements of this material world. The words Pibeti Yasmat indicate that all the demons, regardless of how great and powerful, fear the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The demigods, being afraid of death, took shelter of the Lord and offered him these prayers. Although the time factor is faithful to everyone, fear personified is afraid of the personality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The demigods, being afraid of death, took shelter of the Lord, who is therefore known as Abhay, or fearless. Taking shelter of the Supreme Personality, Lord brings actual fearlessness, and therefore the demigods decided to take shelter of the Lord. So if we fear things, we're always afraid, which we always are. All of us, we have our own fears, one thing after another. We're always fearing something. It's natural. There's so many types of fears, and we are always in fear, whether it's for ourselves or for our family. We're always fearing. That is our nature. We just tend to fear all our lives. We have our fears. But it's mentioned that take the shelter of the Lord. The more shelter we take, the less fear we will feel. Ye yathamam prapadante tamsdeva bhajamiham. Krishna says, more you surrender to me, the more I reciprocate. So the more we surrender to the Lord, the more we become fearless. So Prabhupada's name was Abhay. He was fearless. He was fearless. That's why at age of 70, he came to America. Who else could do that? Free from all material conceptions of existence and never wonderstruck by anything, the Lord is always jubilant and fully satisfied by his own spiritual perfection. He has no material designations, and therefore he is steady and unattached. That Supreme Personality Godhead is the only shelter of everyone. Anyone desiring to be protected by others is certainly a great fool who desires to cross the sea by holding the tail of a dog. So Srila Prabhupada explains that a dog can swim in the water. But if a dog dives in the ocean and someone wants to cross the ocean by holding the dog's tail, he's certainly fool number one. A dog cannot cross the ocean, nor can a person cross the ocean by catching a dog's tail. Similarly, one who desires to cross the ocean in essence should not seek the shelter of any demigod or anyone else, but the fearless shelter of the Supreme Personality Godhead. So the Lord's lotus feet are an indestructible boat, it's described. And if one takes the shelter of that boat, he can easily cross the ocean of nescience. So our Guru is in that boat, and we also take shelter in that boat. Consequently, there are no dangers for a devotee, although he lives with this material world, which is full of dangers at every step. One should seek the shelter of the all-powerful instead of trying to be protected by one's own concocted ideas. So the Manu named King Satyavrit formerly saved himself by tying the small boat of the entire world to the horn of the Matsya avatar, the fish incarnation. So if you want to be saved, then follow Krishna and look for protection from him. No one else can protect us. Krishna wants to protect us, then no one can kill us. If Krishna doesn't want to protect us, then no one can save us. By the grace of the Matsya avatar, Manu saved himself from the great danger of the flood. May that same fish incarnation save us from the great and fearful danger caused by the son of Tvishta. So this is what the demigods are now saying. In the beginning of creation, a tremendous wind caused fierce waves of inundating water. The great waves made such a horrible sound that Lord Brahma almost fell from his seat on the lotus into the water of devastation. But he was saved by the help of the Lord. Thus he says, we also expect the Lord to protect us from the dangerous condition. So because Lord protects from Brahma to the ant, now we are so all equal to him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who created us by his external potency and by whose mercy we expand the creation of the universe, is always situated before us as the super soul. But we cannot see his form. we are unable to see him because all of us think that we are separate and independent gods. Small gods, but we still think we are gods. So here's the explanation of why the conditioned soul cannot see the Supreme Personality Godhead face to face, even though the Lord appears before us like as Lord Krishna, Lord Ramchandra, and lives in human society as a leader or king. The conditioned soul cannot understand him. Avjananti mam mura manusim tanum ashritam. So the rascals, the mudas, deride the Supreme Personality Godhead, thinking him as an ordinary human being. However insignificant we are, we think that we are also God, that we cannot create, that we can create a universe, or that we can create another God. This is why we cannot see or understand the Supreme Personality Godhead. So Shri Madhvacharya says, Lingam eva pashyam kadachid api manastu devanam api saneva prahe kaleshu nasti eva taratam yena sa pitu. So Shri Madhvacharya is saying that we are all conditioned to various degrees, but we think that we are God. This is why we cannot understand who God is or see him face to face. So that is one of the reasons why we cannot see God face to face, because we think we are God. If we think we are God, who wants to see another God? It's competition, isn't it? So, we see ourselves as God, as the controllers, which in a little way, we are in our families. We tend to think that we are the controllers, we are the gods, we the house, everything, or our car, we are the proprietors. So we have that mentality. It's only when we come to Krishna consciousness, we really understand that no, we are just managing these things. We're not the controllers. We don't have control over anything. If you get a headache or you have another problem, are we, do we control? Are we controlling that we have a problem or not? Problems just come from, they can come from anywhere. We have no control over any kind of misery. Any three types of misery, adi bhautik, adi devik, adi atmic problems, they just come and we have no control over them. We can try and reduce them, but we cannot control them coming to us. And same with the demigods here. They solved one problem, and now they have created another problem which they can't solve. Now, if Brahma ji or the demigods, they can't solve the problem, then who are we to think that we can solve our own problems? We really need to surrender to Krishna and, always pray for protection, that, we have save our body and save our mind and save our intelligence, save our ego, that we can think of him all the time, worship him without hindrance. That's all we can do. And Krishna does the rest. So thank you all so much. Hina Mataji, Shani Mataji, Jai Prabhu, Madhav Shamsundar Prabhu, Praveen Mataji, and Pundrikaksh Prabhu. Thank you for joining. So now Vṛtrāsura has appeared, and we will later on talk about how who is Vṛtrāsura. It's a very nice pastime, and a lot to learn from this, and love to hear your views. And we'll start with Pundrikaksh Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Bol.
Thank you so much for this such a nice reading for today. On a few points from me, like everybody is conditioned in the various degrees. So it's very hard to identify that we are conditioned. Like sometimes we may feel that, okay, I'm doing all good, but we don't realize that we're also like conditioned. I feel like that for my personally. And when you are saying about this Vishwarupa, Indra cutting the head of Vishwarupa, because he was taking the side of both demons and as well as this. So I remember one thing when Krishna, before the start of Mahabharata war, there was a person called Babrika, and actually when he came there, he is very powerful, But his weakness is, if he sees some side is weak, then he will go and join and fight on their side. So Krishna thought that first he will see Pandavas weak, so he'll join on the Pandava side. Then later he'll see Kauravas are weak, so he will go and join on their side. So in that way, he will end up killing both sides. So that's why Krishna did the same thing. He asked him to give his head, and he gave me a boon that he can see the war. And he put a stick and put his head on that and allowed him to see the war as well. And that's why he said in the end that when Pandavas were saying that actually who did more killing, and he said, I don't see anybody of you do killing. It's all done by Krishna actually. You're all doing nothing in the war. So that was so nice. And
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think they put his head on a hill or something, and he was looking down
yeah.
at the war, right? Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Prabhu. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I was just thinking about the penalty of what Indra had to, what Indra got from killing Vishwarup, who was a Brahmana. So the killing of a Brahmana and how severe the penalty is, and it was just making me think how cows and Brahmanas are very, very dear to Krishna, as we know, and hence probably the reason why the penalty is so severe. And then very nice points about how the Lord is the supreme controller, and how we need to surrender to his will and pray for his protection. And I was just thinking about actually how becoming by being a devotee or trying to be a devotee of the Lord, that position itself means that we are subordinate. Naturally, means we are subordinate to the Lord. Yeah, I was just contemplating that as well. Yeah, thank you so much. That was it, really. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yeah, Krishna reminds us from time to time, and just brings us down to ground level, because especially the demigods, because they control so many things in a universal way, that it's easy to get puffed up or start thinking that we are God, or the people start, well, we start believing that the demigods are gods, and that's how we worship them, right? Even like we discussed before, in the case of Jamil, the Yamadutas thought Yamraj was God, right? Although they had heard of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but back of the mind, because Yamraj was controlling everything, that they thought he was God. So it's like very easy to forget. We get caught up in these things. It's easy to forget, and at times we start believing that we are God. It's like say, now what I say, everybody do my way or the highway. We think we are controlling everything. Things have to be done my way. So it's like that. Hare Krishna. Praveen Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Yes. Yeah, so again, the only thing that's going to save us is Lord's lotus feet and our spiritual master. So we have to surrender to them. And this morning we had a summary by Mahaprabhu Prabhu, an introduction, sorry, to Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the teachings Prabhuji summarized was, love Krishna of Vrindavan like gopis by reading Bhagavatam. So it is so nice. I thought, I'll share that. So the only thing in life is to serve Krishna. And the knowledge should be only from the authority. We should not take anything from anyone. So we have to check, where it is from. So
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother. Yeah, very good point, because there's so many institutions, so many religions, and so many sects now, And people say that they come to us, we can convince them that this is the best. They go to somebody else, they can also convince them that they're the best. Who do you believe? That why should you follow this one and not this one? Because it's like in a court, every lawyer, like when defense and against they're speaking, like you hear, you think, yes, he's right, and then you hear the other one, you say, no, he's right. So who do you believe? So similarly with the different movements, who do you believe? They can be so convincing with the arguments. So yes, so we really got to follow the Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. When they all three agree on something, that's what we follow. And our ISKCON, or what we are following, this movement, following Lord Krishna, is transparent, right? In the Bhagavad-Gita is written quite clearly, from Krishna to Brahma to to Narad Muni, to the sun god, and so on, to Ikshvaku. It's all the lineage is given. How did this knowledge get to us? It's all there. And then you can cross-check the Bhagavad Gita, you can cross-check the Srimad Bhagavatam, right? The Brahma Samhita. What are they all saying? Krishna is supreme, and they talk about religious principles that we should be following. So if somebody else comes and they can have a very convincing argument, even demons can have a very convincing argument, but does it fit with the shastras? Is with the bona fide shastras, are they actually fitting with that? Is this what the sadhus are saying, right? Is it what the great mahajans are saying, or are they just very good at convincing people? So you're right. So we must be careful that we don't make up this kind of information or preaching, and we don't follow that kind of preaching, because anyone who is going to hell, will take us with them, right? It is a train. If a train's going to Krishna Lok, there's a train going to hell as well. Depends on whose tail you want to catch. So Prabhupada explained that if you catch a tail of a dog, then you're not going to cross the ocean. He's going to take you straight down, because he can't cross the ocean. He doesn't have the way, and he doesn't have the facility or the stamina to do it. So we have to be very careful. Srila Prabhupada said, check things. Don't have blind faith. We must check ourselves, what we are following. It's not just somebody tell us something, we follow it. We have the right to question, and we have the right to investigate properly. Prabhupada says, investigate, clear your doubts, ask questions. There's some religions I hear that don't allow asking questions about God. We're not allowed to ask doubts about clearing any doubts, because it's like blasphemy to ask questions about God. But here it's all transparent, that look, this is information. If there's something you don't understand, you can ask question and clear your doubts. Because doubts are like demons, that they will eat away your bhakti. So I have to be very careful. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjun has so many doubts. He's saying, oh Keshava, oh Madhusudan. So he's talking about the demons, because his doubts, he knows his doubts are like demons, which will eat away his faith, his bhakti, or his belief. So ask questions. This is why we have these moments. Perfect. Brother, you want to say?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, everyone. I was just thinking that the gist of this class for me is that like it's already been mentioned, that we have got just sparks of God's energy in us, and how foolish we are that we start thinking that we are exactly same as God, that our potential is similar to God, and it's God's test on us. Actually, he just given us little energies, and little minds, tiny brains, tiny thinking power, and we start thinking so great about us. And we totally forget that what is our constitutional position, what is our position in this world as human beings, as jivas. We are just servants of Lord. We are here to serve Lord. We are here to use our senses for Lord, not for ourselves. So yes, very important, and we forget this moment to moment. And let's pray that we remember this and continue to serve Lord in our lives. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. And a few summary points from our Jai Prabhu. Vishwarup performed yajna for the demigods, making offerings to the sacrificial fire. He cheated by secretly making offerings for the demons. To Vishwarup was related to the demigods and on his father's side, but was also related to demons on his mother's side. Yeah. Indra found out and retaliated by chopping off the 3 heads of Vishwarup. 2 of the heads transformed into partridges and the 3rd into a sparrow. Indra distributed the sinful reactions for killing of a Brahman 4 ways amongst the earth, trees, water, and women. In return for previous benedictions they got from him. Okay, nice. The father of Vishwarup performed ritualistic ceremonies to kill Indra, and a fearful demon was created. Vṛtrāsura appeared out of the sacrificial fire. Vṛtrāsura looked like the destroyer of the entire creation. His body grew day after day and appeared unconquerable. He swallowed with ease all the weapons, demigods, when they tried to attack him. The demigods, in fear of this demon, tried to please the Supreme Lord. Thank you so much, Jai Prabhu. Okay, wonderful. Now, Praveen Mataji, are you okay to chant today?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Perfect. Okay, so Praveen Mataji and Pundikaksh Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Let's do a couple of nice rounds. And
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine